a little bit over. The senator yield.
I'm finished.
Okay, the senator's finished. I yield 5 minutes to myself. Administrator, great to have you here. If you'll remember, I like to brag about having been a small business owner. My father was a small business owner. My grandfather was a small business owner. Several of my children are small business owners. It's clear the economy of Utah is deeply resting on the shoulders of small businesses. So we value what you do and the importance of what you do. There's been a lot of discussion recently and today about President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. I've had a chance to travel my state, and I think it's fair to say that the tariffs do have a disproportionate impact on small business. They don't have the same resources that larger businesses do to sustain those. They don't have as many different options with supply chains as they do. And I'd never try to outguess the president and his negotiating style, but also the uncertainty of they're on, they're off is also very difficult on our small businesses. And I'd just love to have you maybe comment on what we can be doing for our small businesses in this environment and what your advice is to small businesses and kind of what they can expect.
Thank you, Senator. And I was pleased to have the chance to visit your state and travel around small businesses.
Yes, and we'll get you back when I'm there. But thank you for going. Yeah,
that would be great. There's so many great small businesses and workforce development programs taking place. So I commend your state and the business-friendly environment. The SBA is squarely focused on serving small businesses through all the challenges that they face and the opportunities they face. And fair trade is certainly one of those opportunities. And what we just discussed was the availability of now potentially looking at export markets where small businesses have been shut out of too many markets globally. But one of the biggest things we can do is strengthen our supply chain by making more of our components and parts and materials in America. That's why we're having this hearing, is to support the Made in America Manufacturing Finance Act. And it's a bipartisan effort to ensure that after more than a decade of not raising loan limits, that small businesses, which comprise most manufacturers in America, can have access to investing in that incremental CNC machine, hiring those workers, expanding the plant where they've heard foreign countries come in and say they want to manufacture in America, thanks to President Trump's fair trade policies. We've also announced a Make Onshoring Great Again portal, which provides access to small businesses. It's a resource of about 1 million production and manufacturing facilities in America that is searchable by small businesses to see if they can source more of their supply chain in America. And so it's through innovative efforts like this, expanding access to capital, understanding that there are more resources onshore than we might recognize, and then ensuring that they have access to our technical resources and loan programs to fulfill the potential that this administration is bringing with $10 trillion in investment. And frankly, the biggest thing I hear too is the upcoming tax cut bill. That's small businesses' biggest concern right now, is that they not be subject to a massive tax increase. So, we would love to work with your office to hear any other ideas. But right now, I think small businesses appreciate that President Trump is fighting for them to level the playing field, and so that we can make sure we can have Made in America and ensure that small businesses are no longer dependent on the Chinese Communist Party for their production.
I think it's hard to find a small business in Utah that doesn't want President Trump to be not just successful, but wildly successful. I think there is a lot of patience among our small businesses. At the same time, anything the administration or you can do to signal that you get it, right, that this is very painful, particularly disproportionately painful on our small businesses, I think is very, very important to do, and to help them realize that they are being seen and heard. And a lot of it for me is when I talk to them, if I'm simply able to say, I will deliver your story to Washington, that's really what they want. They just want to make sure that they're heard.
Absolutely, Senator. And we are the voice for small business, and we know that the president there's no greater fan of small business than President Trump. He's fighting for them. That's what fair trade's about.
Yeah, and in reference to the size of your offices, one of the things I learned as a small business owner is we sometimes make the mistake that we solve problems by hiring more people. And I'm very well aware it's not necessarily more people. And I also think we ought to point out that every person on that payroll is a dollar, every dollar we pay them is a dollar not going into small business programs. So I know that balance is difficult for you, but I just want you to know the Senator appreciates that it's not all about the numbers of people. It's more about the quality of the services. And with that, I yield my time, and I